My name is Tommy Noriega, and I am one of the Eastern Region Regional Officers for 2025 to 2026 this year. So, thank you. This race is about the young runner who kind of learns to slow down and take life at his own pace, learning from other people around him, like the wise elder, the blind man, and the older adult. He goes through all of the first races speeding through. He doesn't stop, he doesn't wait for anybody else, and he gets all of the satisfaction from his own victories by himself. He doesn't really get to share with his companions. Through learning from these people who kind of give him insight, he realizes that even though he wins the races by himself, he doesn't have people around him to kind of help him. He's getting all of that just from his own abilities. When he makes the race and he finishes with all the other people, he realizes that it's so much more rewarding to be there with other people, friends and companions around him. It kind of shows us that in your daily life, making connections and being with your friends and family is more important than just being by yourself but winning. For me, I really like this story because I'm a musician. I play piano and I play cello. And when I play piano, I'm usually a soloist, so I'm kind of up there all by myself. And as much as it is rewarding to get all of my achievements and accomplishments kind of seen by other people, it's not as a group. There's no one really to share that joy with. I started playing cello after I started playing piano, kind of maybe a year after. And when I started playing cello, I played in my school orchestra. So when I played in an ensemble, I kind of had to relearn how to play with other people. Because when you play in an ensemble, you have to listen to everybody around you, not just your own section. I don't have to listen to just the cellos, I have to listen to everybody. And it's hard. It's a lot harder than playing solo, but it kind of makes you learn that you need other people around you. And when you play with other people around you, you finish the song and you finish the performance as a group. You make all these connections and you have all these people. It's so much more rewarding than playing solo. In the past year, I was the section leader in my orchestra for the cello section. And although I've been section leader before, I went into high school this year. In middle school, when you play in an orchestra, everybody is still learning. And so there's not really much responsibility on us as the players as much as there is on the conductor. So the conductor would pretty much tell us what to play, how to play it, who needs to be helped out, and who needs to help out everybody else. When I started playing this year in my high school orchestra, it was more like the section leader and everybody in the section has to help out each other. We all have to listen to each other. It's much less on the conductor. It kind of reminded me, because as long as I've been in orchestra, I do know that I need to listen to other people, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Now it's all I do. I hardly listen to myself anymore. I have to listen to everybody else and make sure that I'm good with everybody else. It's really a lot to do with the young runner, because he kind of realizes that when he's running alone, he's just by himself. It's just his own abilities. But when he runs with other people, they share the accomplishment. Even if he came in last, even if he comes in with everybody else, they did it together. Pretty much what we're trying to say is everybody is selfish. Everybody has been selfish in their life. And everybody learns this wisdom that the wise elder had at their own pace. Of course, it's okay to feel your own accomplishments. Everything that you do can be seen as special to yourself. But when you stand up there all alone, it's so much different from standing up there with your friends and your family who helped you get there. Thank you.
Tommy, stay up here just for a minute, right here, if you don't mind. And thank you, Tommy, for sharing so beautifully. Everybody, please give him a round of applause. I loved your story. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you. All right. So, and I'm going to springboard off of a personal story, as you did, Tommy, and share a personal story as well. The ideas of winning, of accomplishing goals, and how we show up along the journey of life beyond the goals and beyond what we define remind me of the lessons that I learned when I was walking the Camino de Santiago. In 2023, when I was about to turn 60 years old, I planned a 40-day pilgrimage along the Camino de Santiago Francés. It was a 500-mile trek from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port on the French side of the Pyrenees Mountains, and then continued into Spain after summiting that mountain peak. The rest of the journey took us through Spain, through unique and varied provinces. It is an ancient pathway that pilgrims have walked in homage to St. James, whose relics are said to be buried in Santiago. The journey is marked by large and small villages, by towns and cities. It goes through agricultural pathways that include cattle and sheep and horses, vineyards, olive groves, sunflower fields, mountains and valleys. Churches and cathedrals with squares mark every 8 to 10 miles, and that's where folks gathered. The pilgrimage, the Camino, literally means the way. It is said that whatever one needs upon the Camino will provide. You pack lightly because you're testing your trust that your needs will be met. And hundreds of pilgrims join together and they follow the way. So, as with any race or game or pilgrimage, the goal belongs in the beginning. We kind of know what the finish line is, so to speak, and you can see it on the map. On this particular map, starting on the left and going to the right, and the finish line is at the end of that line on the far right. And my intention was to go all along that pathway and to walk the entire 500 miles every step of the way. Yet for me, the satisfaction of the journey, or what I would call a win for myself, was deeper than just crossing that finish line. I wanted to walk with an inner, deeper purpose and a goal that would keep me on course with that purpose. You see, leading up to that moment, my whole life had just changed suddenly and dramatically. I had already been a minister and a spiritual student for decades, but gosh, I just wanted to go deeper. So I was looking for a higher goal, a higher meaning for the rest of my life, the remaining part of my life. And in any game or life journey, we may ask ourselves, how do I really want to show up? What do I truly value? Who can I be for God and for those with whom I walk? So my higher goal for the Camino was that I wanted a closer walk with God. I wanted a closer walk as spirit. I wanted a closer walk with myself, my higher self. And so I even chose a theme song, which is called A Closer Walk with Thee. And you can hear a little piece of this. So I had my playlist with me. I had a nice little beat to it, kept me walking, kept me dancing a little bit. And it talks about a closer walk with Thee, a closer walk with God. A closer walk with Thee. sometimes it's important to have a theme song for what you're dedicating your life to, because music can help us remember, can it not? And so that's a little snippet of it for me. And there were other songs on my playlist. Thank you, guys. So my question to you is, what is your life dedicated to? Because when we can answer that question, it's really pointing to what we value in life. And then guess what? You can measure everything you do, all the little games, all the little objectives and goals that you have in your life, and you can measure it against, what is my life dedicated to? Because, you know, as that map suggested, it was a really long walk. And there were so many distractions along the way. Now, for me, I was distracted by just learning how to handle my gear. Learning how to read that map was really challenging for me. Learning how to walk in the right direction on a daily basis was sometimes a challenge. There were many days when I was going the wrong way. I'm also a very social person, and so groups formed around you according to the pace that you walked, and it fed me socially as I got to know the people along the journey, and they helped me to feel safe. But distractions, as fun as they are, can also take us away from our higher and deeper goals. So I had little tricks. Some of these tricks we practice here in the sanctuary on Sundays. I lit candles to remind myself what I was dedicated to. I left stones on altars. I wrote my intentions and left them on altars, and I carried prayers with me to remind me of what was truly important to me. Howard Thurman says it this way. He says, "How do I keep fresh before me the moment of my high resolve?" You see, in the moment when we discover or discern what our lives are dedicated to, we're very enthusiastic. But sometimes the journey and the grit and the dust of the journey can cause us to forget. And so he says, "May I in fair weather and in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or even unfamiliar, may I not forget that which my life is dedicated to." And so I just pause for a moment and again ask, what is your life dedicated to? What do you value? What's most important to you? And when you have a goal, does it match what your intention for life is? I look to the Fillmores, who had a covenant, and they kept their high resolve by their covenant and their dedication. Can you imagine creating Unity as a worldwide ministry? What their journey must have been like? But they had something that helped them to stay the course, that was a statement of their intention. And the first thing, or the first segment I just notate here, is that they clearly dedicated their lives, their time, their money, everything that they had or expected to ever have, to the spirit of truth. So how are we all in with what we're dedicated to in our lives? And then here's the thing, just like the Camino, which provides, they trusted and agreed that that spirit of truth that they dedicated their lives to would render unto them, would give back to them absolutely everything that they need. Everything that they would need along the journey would be provided for them. Health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things. everything necessary to meet every want without making any of these things, and this is important, without making any of these things, these gifts that you receive, the object of our existence. God is the object of our existence and our source and our supply. So what, again, is your life dedicated to? What is your deepest and highest intention? And when you glimpse it, put all of your goals towards that. But guess what? Life happens, doesn't it? Things happen, unexpected things happen along the journey of life. And for me, despite all my training, despite all the candles I lit, despite my dedication, my intentions, that which I offered, sometimes things happen that throw us off. Anybody ever experienced that? You're thrown off? So for me, what happened, what I can reflect on now, is that slowly, the dust and the grit of the journey, I lost sight of my dedication, of my goal. I kept trying to keep up with other people because I was attached to my social connections. And guess what? They walked faster than me. So I pushed myself. And I wasn't listening or being true to myself anymore. And I forgot about my song, that I wanted a closer walk with God. That's what it was about. So I lost sight of my deeper goal. Anybody ever feel like you've lost sight, like you feel lost? So what happened to me? I pulled a tendon. I had an injury. I couldn't bear weight on this leg. And I felt so disappointed. I was devastated. I felt lost. I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't winning at all. And this is when we practice what our teaching is and what our principles are here. For me, I needed an attitude adjustment. Ever need an attitude adjustment? Sometimes life kind of helps us to get back on track, does it not? One of my favorite attitude adjustments is this. And it comes from Albert Einstein. And it says that there's only two ways to consider your life. One is as if everything is a miracle, and the other is if nothing is. I always like to say it's a binary proposition. Another way of saying it, everything is love or fear. And so in that moment, because of the practice here that I get at Unity, I chose to see this injury as a miracle. I chose to determine that it was somehow serving me, and I had no idea how, and it wasn't what I wanted, but I was willing for it to shift me and my perspective. There's another thing, also by Einstein, that says, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. I was laid up, you guys. I couldn't walk. I'm on a Camino and I couldn't walk. But because of this injury, I could slow down. And I decided, how can I be of service to the other pilgrims who were walking this path? So after trying to keep up, I took a rest. I hunkered down and I got better. And when I did that, I literally heard a voice say this. Whose Camino was it? Whose Camino was it? Who on earth said you had to walk 500 miles? Who said that? I don't really think God said I had to walk 500 miles. I was just inspired to have a closer walk with Spirit. But for some reason, I thought I had to walk 500 miles for that to happen. Who said I had to do it perfectly? Huh? Me. I'm the one who said that. And here's another question. Whose measure of perfection are you following? Yeah. So I came face to face with the battle between my idea of perfection, my idea of finishing the race in the perfect way. Ed, stand up. Ed, you have a perfect shirt on. What does it say? You are perfect. It says you are perfect, and you are perfect now. And so in my rest, in that time, I had the opportunity to serve my fellow pilgrims. Guess how I did it? I sat on the pathway, and there were cafes everywhere. I was in the town of Leon, and the pilgrims would come by, and they would sit with me, and we would share a coffee or a drink or food together. And guess what? They started talking to me and sharing with me what they were going through. And I had the opportunity to be of service to them, to listen, to be present, to encourage them on their journey. And suddenly I remembered my ministry. Suddenly I remembered that my camino continued, even though I couldn't walk at the time. And so what I came to learn and what I came to remember is that my camino is absolutely perfect. And guess what? So is yours. And so I invite you to take a breath with me here. I'm going to speak some affirmations. And as I do so, I'm going to invite you to repeat them after me. And I invite you to hold them in your heart and really feel them. Here we go. My life is perfect. Just the way it is and just the way it isn't. All things are stepping stones for good. As a child of God, it is not possible for me to fail. There is no loss in God. In giving, we receive. We gain. We win. Take a breath here. Feel that. Now, I wouldn't trade. Thank you. I love it. Keep going. I wouldn't trade one moment of my experience for a perfect 500-mile walk. My imperfect camino was perfect. And I encourage you to consider the very same in your life. Take a breath here. And let us now turn within as we prepare for our time of meditation. You ready?
Invite you all to join me in the meditation. I'm Angel, one of Unity Renaissance Eastern Region representatives. Now I invite you all to join me in the meditation. Let's take a moment to get still. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and take a deep breath in. Hold it for just a second. Now gently release. One more time, deep breath in. And slowly let it out. In life, we're often told to run fast, to be the best, to win. But the race of life isn't always about being first. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is slow down. In the story, The Race of Life, a boy ran to win again and again. But only when he slowed down and helped others finish the race did the crowd truly cheer. because that's when he ran with purpose. Let's take another deep breath in. And out. That's what love does. It lifts others up even when we could run ahead. That's what God does, moves with us, in us, and through us. We win together, not by being first, but by walking in compassion. Now repeat this to yourself. I run my race with love, purpose, and compassion. Galatians 6:2 says, share each other's burdens, and in this way obey the law of Christ. Let that settle in your heart. Take one last deep breath in. Fill yourself with peace, with strength, with love. And gently release. When you're ready, open your eyes. Amen.